Based on an evaluation of countries all over the globe, the Aid to the Church in Need, the Religious Freedom in the World Report 2021, finds that violations against this fundamental human right have expanded and accelerated significantly since our last survey in 2018. Close to 4 billion people live in the 26 countries classified as suffering the most intense attacks on religious freedom. Almost 50% of these countries are in Africa. Over the last 2 years, transnational jihadist groups who systematically persecute all those who do not accept the extremist Islamist ideology have consolidated their presence in sub-Saharan Africa. While a big part of the territory is not accessible to humanitarian aid workers, governments are either unable or, in some cases, apparently unwilling to address the issue. Only recently have multinational task forces been established to help the local governments. In Asia, China and North Korea are the worst offenders where religious freedom is non-existent, as are the majority of human rights. In China, state control is increasingly oppressive. Mass surveillance, including artificial intelligence, refined technology, a social credit system that rewards and punishes individual behavior, and brutal crackdowns on religious and ethnic groups enforce the state supremacy. This is particularly evident through mass internment and coercive re-education programs affecting more than 1 million mostly Muslim ethnic Uyghurs in Xinjiang province. In Myanmar, ongoing assaults against Christians and Hindus in Kachin State have been cast in the shadow of a massive multi-phased attack by the military and other armed groups against the 1 million mostly Muslim Rohingya population in Rakhine State. A growing challenge to religious freedom in Asia comes from expanding ethno-religious nationalist movements. The trend affects billions in this continent, mainly in democratic or semi-democratic contexts, such as Hindu majority India and the Buddhist majority Sri Lanka and Myanmar. The profound impact of religious freedom violations is most evident in Pakistan, where vulnerable women and girls of minority faith groups are abducted, raped, and obliged to change their faith in so-called forced conversions. The rights of these girls and women are so comprehensively denied that they become slaves. In the 36 countries marked in orange in our categorization, full religious freedom is neither enjoyed nor constitutionally guaranteed. During the period under review, President Erdogan of Turkey took steps to position the country as a global Sunni power, threatening the rights of other faiths in the process, as exemplified by the conversion of the Hagia Sophia in Istanbul into a mosque. Islam is promoted in every aspect of public life. In some states in the Middle East, South and Central Asia, and the former Soviet countries, freedom of worship is guaranteed, but not full religious freedom. Furthermore, in some countries, conversion from the majority religion is forbidden by law, while in others, suppressed as a result of strong societal pressures. The COVID-19 pandemic had profound implications for human rights, including that of religious freedom. Militant groups have taken advantage of governments who have been distracted by the need to concentrate on tackling the pandemic. In Africa, for example, Islamist extremists have increased attacks, thereby entrenching territorial gains and recruiting new members. Pre-existing societal prejudices against minority religious communities also led to increased discrimination, for example, in Pakistan, where Muslim charities denied Christians and members of other minority faith groups access to food and medical aid. In the West, emergency measures taken in response to the pandemic impacted freedom of assembly and religious freedom, prompting criticism and debate. In this report, we have introduced for the first time a new category titled Countries Under Observation, where we have observed new factors which could have a significant impact on religious freedom in the future. Evidence for this category is the violent demonstrations in Latin America, where protesters attacked and destroyed religious symbols and property. In some regions, violent hate crimes were carried out against religious leaders and members of the faithful. Pope Francis has defined what he terms polite persecution, in which evolving values and new cultural norms have consigned religions to what he calls the quiet obscurity of the individual conscience. For example, in the West, the right to conscientious objection on religious grounds for healthcare professionals in relation to issues concerning abortion and euthanasia is no longer meaningfully protected by law. But the period under review has also seen significant change for the better. There was important progress in terms of religious dialogue, and faith leaders were able to play an increasingly important role in conflict resolution, helping to bring warring sides to the negotiating table. The visits of Pope Francis to the United Arab Emirates resulted in the signing of a document titled Human Fraternity for World Peace and Living Together. Dramatic world events, be they in Africa, Asia, or indeed in the Middle East, have led to an unprecedented rise in that most serious of claims, namely genocide. The Religious Freedom Report reflects the mission of ACN to be a voice for those who are suffering and silenced as a result of persecution. As Pope Francis said in 2015, in a world where various forms of modern tyranny seek to suppress religious freedom, it is imperative that the followers of the various religions join their voices in calling for peace, tolerance, and respect for the dignity and rights of others.